Thank you. First and foremost, I would like to thank the organizer, TAPA Asia, especially Tony Luck, for this great opportunity for me to share TES journey in scrap management as well as in sustainability. My name is Edward. I'm the current head of group security for TES Group of Company. So we removed the AMM and we are now known as TES in short to make it easy for everybody. So greetings also from our group CEO Gary Steele as well as our CSO. CSO stands for Chief Sustainability Officers. He's based in Singapore as well to share about TES sustainability journey. While I like to emphasize the word sustainability as a journey because sustainability is non-present 20-odd years ago when TES existed, but now it is. So it's ever changing and rapidly revolving. Next slide, please. Sorry, the previous slide. So this is the word from our current chairman, and he's also a founder of TES, Mr. Terence. Very humble man, Singapore bred. He graduated, or rather he worked in A-Star, and he came out to establish TES with the other two co-founders. And in this report in 2021, you can have a copy and download. It's on our public domain. I would like to emphasize a point that he says, we must take responsibility for the people, sustainability operations, and care for the planet and everything that lives on it. Now, it's indeed true that global warming is here. I can see that when I first check in into the hotel, very hot afternoon, the very minute it started to pour like cats and dogs. So it is very real. Global warming is here, and if you were to look at the degrees that the temperature have fluctuated over the last 50 years, you have gone up between 1 to 1.5 degrees Celsius. So it is indeed getting warmer. So the dislikes or the video clips will give you a flavor of TES, and please play this. Sit back and enjoy.
Since 2005, TES has been taking a compliant, secure, and sustainable approach to meeting the technology lifecycle needs of organizations all over the world. Delivering services from over 40 owned processing facilities allows us to reach over 100 countries.
Okay, glitch in the system, I don't know what. Basically give you a flavor of our presence. So to emphasize what's in the video clip, TES was established in 2005 in Singapore. So our global headquarters is in Singapore. And of course, currently it's owned by SK. SK is in Korea. We were bought last year in April by SK EcoPlant, and now we are part of the SK group. So we cover 40 sites in 20 countries, serving our global customers in more than 100 countries. So sitting here is a network. I see a lot of my customers here. I see my providers here. I see my SI here, and I see a lot of my friends here as well. So it's good to be back. And obviously, we have 5 million assets to repurpose every year. And we have 2,000 plus employees globally. And our annual revenue is about 450 USD as of the last report. So to emphasize, we have a lot of certification that we need to obtain. First, obviously, we are TAPA site in Asia, and we are TAPA member here in Asia. We have various ISO certification from 9 to 27,000, and very important So you're looking for recycler, make sure you have this US certification known as R2. The current version is version 3, so it's R2V3. R2 stand for responsible recycler. And this program is actually came out from US. All right, next slide, please. So here's a bit of our journey, and you can see that it's like a railway track. So we started the founding years in year 2005, and within that, it established into China, into Malaysia, and into Thailand. It's a small SME then. Right, and quickly and surely, we move into not just only the recycling operations, but we have actually acquired what we call it the ITEC operations. ITEC stands for Information Technology Assets Disposal. Okay, so this is where we have different services. I will extend further on that. And that's how in 2013, we were invested by Navis Capital, a VC fund based in Malaysia, and that's how it started to spread its wings and establish globally. Now, 2018, we further expand into Europe, particularly in Germany and in UK. And this year, I also want to explain is with the venture capitalists, they started to go into the ESG, as what Halim had mentioned. You see a value proposition in giving an ESG for investor. All right, and in 2018, we first published our sustainability report with full transparency. Right, and from that year onwards, we have been making reports progressively and adding into, and last year we joined the UN, and we have adopted 12 of their goals into our sustainability strategy, okay? Like what I mentioned, in 2022, we were acquired by SK. So to date, TES-SK is a global leader in sustainable technology services with services for the commissioning, deployment, retirement of technology devices and components. So sustainability, in our view, is to extend the end of life, the shelf life of a product. And we have many customers that uses our services and to support them as well in this journey. Next slide. Okay, we have many services in TES, but I just try to quickly explain in broadly the three types of tradition. So e-waste is where we started our recycling operations. All right, there are a few suites of services that we offered by TES on a global scale. I will only highlight three of these to bring out the message on sustainability. It started with collection, sortation, segregation, dismantling, and ultimately crushing in most e-waste. And it is sometimes unavoidable to encounter hazardous material from electronic devices such as lead, mercury, and at times flammable substances. So sometimes we even receive explosive, all right, like thunder flash that we use in the military. All right, so all these are very flammable, and workers are equipped with the necessary PPE, part of our QEHS initiative, goggles, masks, and to carry out their operations safely. Now for Infotech, okay, this is the size of our operation in UK, in Cannock. is a huge establishment, one of the world's biggest, is to cater for the rising needs of technology customers. And it is a one-stop solution for decommissioning and the retiring of end-of-life IT equipment. It makes all aspects of life cycle, including transportation, ID tag, testing, repair, data sanitization, and IT value recovery. The last, you can see that as we grow, it's getting more complex. This is the battery recycling plant. I will share the video at the end of the session. One of the Southeast Asia biggest plant. All right, it has a lot. It's a very complex operation and hazardous operation with a mix of mechanical and chemical processes. Again, health and safety, particularly fire safety, is utmost considerations, and work closely with regulators to ensure fire safety measure and hazmat operation risk to battery fire and chemical liquid used for bleaching are stored and used safely. All right, for those who do not know, battery fires is extremely hazardous and it cannot touch water. It mixed with water, it emits a toxic fume and we will kill. All right, it's extremely toxic. So the battery plant in Singapore has a capacity of handling 40 tons of lithium-ion batteries, or the equivalent of 280,000 smartphones each day. So currently, world batteries, okay, with those in restrictions in country due to the regulatory, are all shipped into Singapore for us to crush it and then process it through these mechanical processes. So this is where we talk about the crusher. Okay, it's a very heavy-duty crusher, and then it will go through a mechanical filtration system, and then, you know, that's where the black mesh is being produced, and it goes through a chemical processes using class 5 substances, like sulfuric acid and all that for bleaching. Okay, and then it will turn into what we call it the cobalt. And cobalt is, in years ago, they will be mined in Africa, and you can only extract up to 40% from rare earth. But with this recycling of batteries, you can have a very good recovery of up to 80%. All right, so example, 10 kilos of battery feed into our process. We are able to capture 9 kilos of usable commodity materials in the recycling process. So you can see the yield. All right, products like cobalt, lithium, which can be purified for reuse in the production of new batteries. So right now you know that the world's biggest production of battery came from China. So you will go back and feeding the supply chain in China. But of course, it comes with a lot of challenge as well, which I will explain later on in the Q&A. So global regulations such as WCO must keep up with the change to embrace recovered material from recycling operation. Classification of the harmonized code must be in line with this sustainability effort. And I believe the WCOs and a lot of countries are making some changes as well right now. Next slide. This is just to give you a flavor of our customers base. We have a good spread of customers from OEMs or original equipment manufacturer, contract manufacturers, banks, financial institutions, educational institutions like universities, data centers, e-commerce, and even value-add resellers. All these are our customers. Next slide. Here, I'd like to emphasize 3 points. Closing the loop, expand assets life cycle and delivery sustainability services. Closing the loop in the e-waste management refers to the concept of creating a circular economy for e-products. It entails establishing a sustainable system where e-products are recycled and recovered material are introduced into the materials to cover a new product, what we call make, use, return, reuse, harvest, recycle, and remake model as explained in this chart. So you can see that we did about 3/4 of this in the whole process. All right, these are the make from the contract manufacturer become finished goods where you involve logistics, and the rest, we call it the return market. Okay, so we can also call in a very layman term the high-class Kalanguni. All right, basically is the e-waste aspect. All right. Traditional line economy model is take, make, dispose approach, where resources are extracted, products are manufactured, used, and ultimately discarded as waste, and may not be necessarily environmental friendly. Closing the loop aims to generate lesser waste and maximize the recovering through recycle, reuse, and remake, and of course, recover. Now, what does re-expanding the assets life cycle means? In number 2, it refers to prolong or extend the useful life and maximize the value of assets through effective management practices. Some key aspects are reuse, refurbishment, repair, part harvesting, reutilization, redistribution, and therefore creating a shared economy. When asset reaches the end of their useful life, then proper disposal, recycle process are to be followed. Implementing responsible and environmental friendly disposal method, ensuring that value material recovered, hazardous components are managed safely. Third, in terms of deliver sustainability services, it encompasses a range of helping organizations integrate our sustainability strategy. For TES, we have included climate change, carbon emission and greenhouse gas, data protection is a key effort actually, secure supply custody, EHS, compliance program and practice, community engagement, helping the underprivileged, inclusiveness, equality, and diversity at TES, and responsible supply chain management, etc. Next slide. Protect the privacy, brand IPs, data, and trust of our customers is utmost important. So we have 3 trusts that we adopt as part of our sustainability effort. That is protect, preserve, provide. And of course, we aim through reduce, reuse, recycle. And our ambition as our mission in 2030 is to repurpose 1 billion kilos of assets by 2030. It's a big mission, but we want to adopt that. So today we have repurposed about 103 million assets as of today. You can actually check it online. It is in our website. Next slide. I try to go through it quickly. So I've compressed these 3 slides into one slide to talk about our sustainability strategy in line with the UN Sustainability Developmental Goals. And there are many goals within the SDGs, but we take the relevant one to put into our strategy. All right. So we have under protect, is data security. In the e-waste line, especially on the recycle or the return line, our customers demand high level of data security for their product. Make sure that the drives are degaussed to destroy because it contains customer data. So we have to ensure that we have a system, we have the standards, and we have the certification. We have globally purchased what we call it a Blanco system to achieve the zero leakage. And of course, the ethics governance, the business sustainability and thought leadership. In fact, as of 9th of June, we were awarded this Business Sustainability Leadership Award by US SEAL. Okay, SEAL stands for Sustainability Environment Achievement for Leadership Program. All right, and for preserve, we talk about extending life with proper waste management to zero refill, transparency and accounting, and use of natural resources, and last but not least, to provide good health and safety, and to ensure that we embrace diversity and inclusion, and obviously community engagement. Okay, I need to quickly run through it. Next slide, please. So to be leaders in sustainability, these are 3 subsets are very important in order to ensure that you have the sustainability achievement. Right. As a leader, I believe communication is extremely important. All right. Okay. So you make sure that you have the right plans to communicate to the stakeholders. You create content, and I think it's very important is to create awareness, and sometimes you need to manage conflict, right, in your communication. And you need data. I've been hearing a lot of speakers talking about big data. Data is very important in our sustainability journey. So for us, we have created a tool known as Substainion, Sustain with an ION, okay, to collect all the ESG data which Alim had been talking about. All right, and then we prepare, we present, we even calculate the energy consumption, and also analyze, do a risk management, and then analyze the impact. Last but not least, we do it as an action. Okay, we are not a NATO, we talk, but we also act on it. All right, through our net zero commitment, our reporting to our annual report, our greenhouse gas protocol, scope 1, 2, and 3, and last but not least, through our social responsibility program. Right, next slide, I think it should be ending. All right, so this is how our annual report looks like. Please go to the website and you can sign up to get a copy of it. It's very extensive. All right, so it started from 2018 to 2021 is still available. Next slide. Okay, I think for the essence of time, I will skip this. This was supposed to show you our Southeast Asia battery plant operation in Singapore. And Tony and the TAPA are supposed to visit this site, because of the conference, we delayed it. But you can visit. A lot of your customers already come and visit us. Government education, embassies, and so on and so forth. Okay, you can also Google on YouTube. You can see that on as well. Next slide. I think I'll do a concluding remarks. Next slide. Okay. Yeah, stop it, yeah.
Demand on the world's limited resources is increasing to an unsustainable level, and some forecasts predict we will run out of natural resources like cobalt and lithium within the next 100 years. These elements are vital components of lithium batteries, and as our demand for technology increases, it's vital these devices and their batteries are responsibly handled when it's time to recycle them. TES is privileged to be the partner of choice for some of the world's largest technology OEMs, hyperscale cloud companies, contract manufacturers, and electric vehicle manufacturers. We work with those partners to safely package, collect, and transport their retired lithium batteries from their location to our recycling facilities in France and Singapore. The batteries arrive certified and sealed, ready for processing and repurposing by our team of over 200 engineers. From here, the receiving process takes place, and recovering the scarce materials inside retired batteries begins. Our team identifies and captures the relevant information on the job as the material is unpackaged. This is a part of our documented chain of custody process and creates the audit trail that helps our clients stay compliant with regulations and their own audit requirements. Once everything is recorded, the dismantling process begins. Where required, a subsequent discharging process will harvest the residual energy of the batteries. The recovered energy will be stored in the installed Second Life energy storage system and utilized for the following recycling process. Pallet IDs are checked again, and contents are photographed and logged before the sorting begins. Once segregated into battery types, the components go through the mechanical process, which is broken into two phases: size reduction and separation. First, the batteries go through a series of intense shredding and hammer milling, while thermal runaway is minimized. The process heat still allows the electrolytes to evaporate and be captured as VOC gases, all closely monitored to maintain safety levels. Next, we enter the separation phase of the process. Using a series of air, magnetic milling-based techniques, the core components of the batteries are separated into ferrous and non-ferrous metals. Papers and plastics are removed. Black mass powder is extracted during all these steps and preserved for use in the next stage. Black mass is the starting point for the four-stage chemical process, which starts with leaching to extract the fine precious metal elements. It also includes several cycles of reaction and filtration and produces graphite, cobalt hydroxide, and lithium carbonate materials, ready for use down the manufacturing stream. All processes are highly automated. They can be monitored and controlled from a central control center, as well as on-site by a sophisticated automation control system. The lab team perform quality control analysis on the recovered raw materials to meet the rigorous parameters of the supply chain for new batteries and to maintain the purest and highest commodity-grade recovery and purity rate in the industry. All the while, the facility makes sure there's zero discharge of wastewater, capturing sodium sulfate byproducts and using an on-site photovoltaic system and energy storage system to make the whole hydrometallurgical process as sustainable as possible. Because of all this, the raw materials needed for tomorrow's batteries can be reused in the forward manufacturing supply chain, driving down the dependence on sourcing scarce materials, offering an ethical, safe, cost-effective, and closed-loop solution for our planet and our customers.
Right. So, thank you. So, in conclusion, as we continue our journey on sustainability, we must remain committed to sharing knowledge, inspire others, and working collaboratively with stakeholders, regulators, customers, and partners towards a more sustainable and resilient world. Together, we can forge a path together for a brighter future for our future generation to come. With that, thank you.